And the reason why I wanted to discuss One-Eyed Jacks is because there is a long-standing motif in creation stories, myth, writing, literature, television, movies, theater, that evokes a place that's like One-Eyed Jacks. And so rather than just draw instances of how the events that take place there and or the locale itself relates to the theory in sort of a organizational or ecological way, rather than do that, I wanted to talk about perhaps why the writers, why is it on the minds of the writers, plural in this case, who deal with this location.
But you're kind of using the word motif in terms of like the grand human story, so to speak. These are things that repeat over and over within classic or grand stories. Is that accurate? So not within,
Yes,
you're
and
not using motif within the text of Twin Peaks alone.
we're talking about the archetypal motif. And so inside the unconscious, the collective unconscious, as it were, which is, as Carl Jung describes it, that which flows through all of us. It's sort of a hereditary reservoir of things embedded in us that we will then project into our personal unconscious as symbolism, people, complexes, ideas, things that happen, nightmares, dreams, wish fulfillment, whatever the case might be. And this is a motif of that landscape, so the same sort of landscape that happens quite often. I'm making the suggestion that the show itself is a demonstration of Jungianism. Now, I think that it would be on their minds that places like this, places of excess, and what happens as a direct result of interacting with those places and being your most untethered self. I do think it explains a lot about the problems of the dreamer and the worries of the dreamer, which is precisely why I think that Pinocchio engages in this story, and precisely why I think that the story of Babylon and the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, these spaces that exist where only bad can occur. Now, in the case of these locations, you can draw a real straightforward comparison between Pleasure Island of Pinocchio, why it exists, what's happening there, and what the end result will be from having interacted with it, and One-Eyed Jacks. What's really occurring is sort of a purposeful commentary on excess, with maybe an unintentional commentary on the dangers of allowing yourself to not really have these conversations with how far you're willing to go. Why is it that people use this story so often? The place of the hidden place where all pleasure is allowed to reign free, and why is it always a cautionary tale?
All right, so speaking of Pleasure Island, quick refresher on the Pinocchio story. Not the whole story, but the Pleasure Island part. Quick summary of that part, or the main function of inserting that type of story within a story.
The reason why it's easy to talk about Pinocchio, the reason why it gets evoked a lot, even in the realm of psychology, the reason why it gets evoked so often is because it is, in fact, making a point to children that is easy to decipher. Pleasure Island is a spot of children run amok. So they are that which have never taken it upon themselves to grow up, is what I would suspect we're supposed to understand. They are the spirit of childhood reason and responsibility. And their lives are games and doing that which you should not do. It's heightened by the idea that we're watching it be kids. Kids are going to light up cigars. This ain't good. Kids are going to drink. This ain't good. But what's really happening there is that it's the essence of this inability to grow up and what happens and what you're involved in when you behave that way. One-eyed Jacks serves as the reservoir inside of all of us, the symbol that we've all got of what will come to us if we allow for our worst instincts to take over. And the warning that we have inside of us that sometimes our worst instincts take over due to just negligence, good old-fashioned not minding the store. I think that the point I'm making about one-eyed Jacks as a metaphor, as a place, why would this otherwise exist? And perhaps to show places of yourself, if you let go of the reins and you allow yourself to behave in those manners, the dreamer's in a place where all hell has broken loose. What are you going to be? What are you going to do about it? Right? The vast majority of us that are in any traumatic situation, we don't walk away unscathed. A lot of us, if we're in a traumatic situation, we come out the worse for it, right? We don't have the strength to sort of like navigate it and get ourselves through it because it's just too much for us, right? And that's what I think that these things are ultimately discussing.